These are the 7 worst mistakes you're making in high ticket sales. Hey, if you don't know who I am, my name is Ivan, and for the past 4 years, I had a solar marketing agency helping solar professionals get leads and appointments. Before that, I was a high ticket closer. Then I transitioned to my agency, and now I'm building one of the largest sales orgs in America in solar, as well as building the most incredible SaaS tool that the industry has ever seen. But there's enough of that. I see time and time again, people are struggling to make sales in high ticket selling. Doesn't matter if you're looking to get into high ticket sales or you're already doing it, you just started, but you feel kind of lost. I'm gonna help you not leave money on the table by implementing the exact opposite of what these mistakes actually are. So without further ado, let's get right in. The first mistake that I see a lot of people make in high ticket sales is they don't know who they're talking to. The ideal avatar. I'm not talking about the avatar. I'm talking about the ideal avatar. Meaning if that's somebody that you see closing all the time and you know you could provide the most amount of value to that specific individual, then that is your ideal avatar. And the biggest mistake I see a lot of people making is that they don't know who their ideal avatar is. They know the features of the product or the service, but they don't know who they're talking to. They don't know their pain points. They don't know what keeps them up at night. They don't know what makes them embarrassed. They don't know what problems they need to solve the most. They don't know who they're talking to. And one of the first rules in high ticket sales is the other side needs to feel understood in order to buy into your product or service. In order for you to earn their trust, they need to feel understood. So that's mistake number 1. Number 2, oh my gosh, not recording your calls. You have to record your calls because if you don't record your calls, you're not going to be able to improve. It's as simple as that. If you're closing over the phone, just have a second device, literally recording, put it on speaker and record that call. Or if you're using an app like Go High Level that already has the functionality to record that call, then make sure you utilize it every single time. If you do Zoom calls, same thing. Just record your Zoom calls and make sure everything is recorded. Why? Because if you screwed up on the sale, you wouldn't know where you screwed up. And especially at the beginning, this is extremely important because you get into the habit of actually going over your calls and seeing where you could have improved. And you could pinpoint exactly what you said or you didn't say or the tone of your voice that could have cost you the sale. Now, mistake number 3 is once you have the call recorded, then listen to it. Most people don't listen to their calls. And I fell into that category to begin with. I was recording my calls, but then I wasn't really listening to them. They were piling on and I wasn't really listening to them. So I'm telling you, if you record your calls, go back and review those calls. Like actually take the time to review those calls, like listen back to your own calls. Because sometimes, now for example, I don't train my team without listening to their calls. I need to know once they know the script verbatim, once they know exactly how to handle objection, they have an objection handling sheet, then I need to know exactly where they fucked up. But there's no way for them to be able to recall if they had 5 calls that day. There's no way for them to recall exactly where they screwed up if they closed 1 out of the 5, for example, but there was an opportunity to close another 1 or 2. Sometimes it's not what you said or didn't say. A lot of times it's how you said it. Because if you say, well, my price is $25,000 and then you flinch, the other side, especially if this is over the phone and they could sense, the prospect could sense the crackling of your voice that could be detrimental and lead to you not closing the deal. But you wouldn't know that unless you heard yourself say the price at the time of the price reveal. So you gotta listen back to those calls. Very important. Number 4, not sending reminders prior to the call. Like you gotta have SMS reminders. You gotta have email reminders. There's never too many reminders. I will tell you that. If somebody complains that there's too many reminders, then that's a good sign. That's not a bad sign. It means that they were like, oh, dude, there's no way I'm forgetting the call that I have with Ivan on Tuesday. Especially when the call is more than 2 to 3 days out, which sometimes happens, especially if it's before the weekend. It is insane how many people forget their calls. Now, granted, if they believe the call is important to them, they'll show up without reminders. But you get the point. You have to make sure that you have the most amount of reminders to minimize the amount of people not showing up to your calls. Especially when there's a discovery call in the process, which for high ticket selling, usually that's how it goes. There's never a one call close, really. You do a discovery call at the beginning to find out if you can actually help. And on the second call is where you actually take everything they told you on the first call, and then you repeat it back to them, and then you price reveal. And then you handle objections if you need to. But if your script is good enough, you shouldn't have to handle objections. Most of the time is uncertainty issue. But that's a topic for another video. You gotta send reminders. Use your CRM. Use Calendly or whatever booking software you're using. Have them all send out text and email reminders. And that is how you maximize the amount of people that show up to the call, which is, of course, gonna show up at your bottom line. Number 5, not calling a second time. Oh my goodness. Have I seen this 1,000 times? If I got $1 every single time somebody didn't call me twice at least, that would be probably $1 million. But jokes aside, like, you have to call a second time. I've seen ridiculous cases of people where they call me once. Why do I do that? I'm genuinely interested in their product or service. And here's what happens. They give me a call. I'm literally in the bath. My phone's in the office. And by the time I get to my phone and I see there was a missed call or whatever, life gets in the way, whatever. It could have been the bathroom, could have been anything, right? Life gets in the way. I pick up my phone. I know they're called, but now I can't call them back because it's the stupid CRM or whatever they have set up. And now I can't call them back. Like, you gotta try them at least a few times. I would try them at least 4 to 5 times before I give in. The way I do it is triple dial. If they don't answer the first time, the second time, and the third time, then I wait 5 minutes and then I double tap again. So it's very normal to call somebody 4 to 5 times within a space of 5 minutes. Why? Because first of all, they agreed to have this meeting with me. I didn't force them to come to the meeting. They agreed to have this meeting with me. Or however they scheduled a call, they gave me permission to call them at the time of the appointment. That's literally what it means. So please don't do that. Call at least 4 to 5 times. And I'm telling you, you're going to get a lot more people on the call. Number 6, not following up manually. You have to follow up. So what happens if they don't respond the first 5 times? Well, then you try them again in 2 to 3 hours. So if you have gaps in your day in between appointments, try out the appointments that are the freshest, which is, let's say, from the morning or from the early afternoon. Try them out in the evening. You got to try them out multiple times the first couple of days, like religiously. Mistake number 7, you have to have some sort of follow-up through text and email in order to keep top of mind with the person you're trying to reach. Because I've seen it so many times to where people just give up on the lead. Hey bro, like, I actually applied to talk to you, right? And life got in the way or whatever, and I thought originally I wasn't interested. And then 2 weeks later, I found out again that maybe I want to do business with somebody like you. But then you never follow up. So what happened was, I'm like, okay, that guy's not serious, so I'm just going to continue on with my search to find somebody who can actually serve me. To me, if somebody's not following up enough with me, that means they don't take me seriously. I'm like, they don't follow up now, and I haven't even given them money. I can only imagine what it's like when I pay them, which is already a job done on their end. Like, you have to remember that there's so many psychological things that are going on in your prospect's mind, and you have to follow up with them. It actually shows that you care about helping them, which is exactly what they're come to you for. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a massive thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next one.